Chapter 12. Flame Dragon Rush Initial Completion. On top of a boulder, a young man in a black shirt was sitting quietly with a red scroll in his hand. The words on the scroll were engraved in his mind. Flame Dragon Charge, Elementary Fire Attribute Monarch Level Cultivation Technique. Concentrate the Origin Monarch Chi on the meridians in both arms and connect with the mind, activating it. When mastered, it can become a 9-foot 9-inch flame dragon. When the flame dragon roars, not even a blade of grass can survive. After a few short introductions, there were the mental cultivation method and cultivation matters. Xiaoyan wrapped his soul energy around the scroll and quickly read through all the words in detail. According to the scroll, Xiaoyan circulated the Origin Monarch Chi in his body to gather at the meridians in his arms. The Origin Monarch Chi followed the meridians that the flame dragon charge passed through and slowly moved to his palm. When it was almost there, Xiaoyan's hands accidentally shook, and the Origin Monarch Chi that was moving forward immediately disappeared, wandering back and forth in his body. Xiaoyan frowned slightly, then once again condensed the Origin Monarch Chi in his body and rushed towards his palm along the meridians. After failing 5 times in a row, Xiaoyan finally succeeded in condensing the Origin Monarch Chi in his hands. Very quickly, Xiaoyan's palm turned slightly red. Xiaoyan was not surprised, but happy. With a thought, more Origin Monarch Chi in his body began circulating rapidly around his meridians. After about a minute, 2 small flames that were a few inches long suddenly appeared on Xiaoyan's palms. The small flames were like fire snakes that were slowly swaying. Xiaoyan looked at the 2 fire snakes that were not even as long as his fingers and smiled bitterly. The Origin Monarch Chi in his body dispersed, and the 2 small fire snakes immediately turned into green smoke. Xiaoyan looked at the slowly dissipating green smoke and let out a light sigh. He closed his eyes and once again thought about the cultivation method in the scroll. After a while, Xiaoyan opened his eyes. 2 fire snakes about 3 meters long appeared in his palm. Although the shape of the fire snakes was still a little blurry, however, there was already a trace of ferociousness in them. Nodding his head in satisfaction, Xiaoyan dispersed the 2 flaming snakes. He could feel that his body was still filled with Origin Monarch Chis. He muttered to himself, the scroll says that it requires 5-star fighting monarchs and above to be able to cultivate. It does make some sense. There are no vigorous Origin Monarch Chi. I really can't withstand such torment. Time passed in a flash. In the blink of an eye, Xiaoyan had been in the vicinity for nearly half a month. Xiaoyan was already able to control his own sudden increase in strength. The biggest gain was the cultivation of Flame Dragon Charge. Xiaoyan had been practicing non-stop for the past few days. Although the current Flame Dragon Rush had not reached the 99-inch large success stage, however, it had still reached the 60-foot mastery stage, so its power had naturally increased by quite a bit. In an open space, Xiaoyan was waving 2 fire dragons that were about 150 to 60 meters long in his hands. The fire dragons moved along with the wind, and one could vaguely hear the sound of a dragon's roar. Xiaoyan waved his hands lightly. The 2 fire dragons were like arrows released from a bow, turning into 2 majestic fire pillars. They struck a huge tree not far in front of him, and with a loud bang, the thick and large tree made a loud noise before crashing to the ground. The center of the huge tree was completely destroyed by the 2 fire dragons. Not bad, it is indeed much stronger than a Tian-class Do technique. Xiaoyan looked at the giant tree that had fallen and clicked his tongue as he nodded. Thinking back to the time when he slapped down with his yellow fist, this palm, which was sufficient to kill any Do Sheng in the lower realm, had only caused a large tree that was not much thicker than his thigh to shake a few times. From this, one could tell the difference between a Do technique and a Monarch art. Moreover, there was the Monarch spell above the Monarch art. The Monarch arts was an even stronger Monarch skill. Swish! 2 more fire dragons appeared in Xiaoyan's hands. As Xiaoyan controlled them with his mind, the huge fire dragon's body began to shrink rapidly. It only stopped when it turned into 2 fire snakes. Xiaoyan's eyes were fixed on the 2 fire snakes on his hands. He calmed his heart and slowly put his hands together. When the 2 fire snakes came into contact with each other, a slight cracking sound was heard from Xiaoyan's palms. Xiaoyan gritted his teeth, and his soul power surged out from the top of his head like a tidal wave. It tightly wrapped around his palms, completely controlling the fusion of the 2 fire snakes. However, Xiaoyan only managed to hold on for a moment before the two fire snakes in his hands exploded. A huge amount of energy hit Xiaoyan's body, forcing him to take 3 or 4 steps back. There was some charred color on his palms. Flame Dragon Charge did not have a fire dragon in each of his hands to fight an enemy. Instead, it was like fusing with a boot of Fury Fire Lotus, allowing the two fire dragons to perfectly fuse together and form a fire dragon. This was the true Flame Dragon Charge. It could only be considered to have reached large success when the fire dragon was 9 feet 9 inches long. At that time, its might would definitely be several times stronger than it was now. Taking a light breath, 2 fire dragons appeared on Xiaoyan's hands once again. With a slight sway, the fire dragons turned into the size of fire snakes. Looking at the 2 fire snakes swaying in the fire, Xiaoyan said angrily, "I can even fuse with heavenly flames, but I can't even fuse with your spiritual flame." As he spoke, he wrapped his hands with his soul power, controlling every inch of his body in an extremely balanced manner. After that, both of his palms slowly leaned towards each other. After more than 10 failures, Xiaoyan finally touched a delicate balance point between the 2 fire snakes in an instant. Under Xiaoyan's delighted gaze, a fire dragon about 6 to 7 meters long and 2 to 3 meters thick appeared on his right hand and wrapped around his right arm. Success. The first Monarch skill in the big world is considered a small success. Xiaoyan looked forward. Wherever he looked, he was still blocked by layers of forest. The depths of the forest were filled with unknown terror. Holy rank trial, this is the true beginning. Ow! Along with an angry beast roar, a figure flapped his wings and quickly escaped from this region. Behind him, a huge stone bull roared and chased after him. With the slow speed of the stone cow, it naturally wouldn't be able to catch up to Xiaoyan. Seeing that damn human disappear, the stone cow broke a few trees as if it was venting its anger. It roared and walked into the depths of the forest. This old bull, didn't it just take away all the red baby fruits in its nest? It actually chased me for half a day. On a small tree that was over 10 meters tall, Xiaoyan looked at the stone cow that had left and let out a light sigh. As he spoke, Xiaoyan took out a medicinal herb from his interspatial storage ring. To be precise, it was a fruit. At the top of the fruit, there were 2 small red fruits that were very beautiful under the contrast of the 3 green leaves. The branches were about an inch long. Ever since Xiaoyan accidentally found a red infant fruit and knew that some medicine pills refined from it could increase the absorption of origin Monarch Qi, he had been searching for it. When Xiaoyan found hundreds of red infant fruits in a cave, he took all of them without hesitation. Just as he finished collecting them, the owner of this cave, a stone bull with the strength of a 7-star doe monarch, had just returned. When it saw this scene, its eyes instantly turned red, and it chased after Xiaoyan for a long time. In the Great World, the fighting monarch was a transition level that belonged to the lower realm in this world. Only those who advanced to the sovereign realm could be considered as cultivators in the Great World. Hence, beasts at the fighting monarch level were still called devil beasts. Only those above the sovereign realm were called spirit beasts. The spirit beasts were 3 levels above the human realm. Above the high-grade spirit beasts were called heavenly beasts. The heavenly beasts were even more powerful than the spirit beasts, and could even speak the human language. The 5 monster cores that Xiaoyan needed to complete the holy rank trial should be called heavenly cores, or more accurately, middle rank heavenly beasts. This was where the energy within the middle rank heavenly beast's body gathered, and it was equal to a human's origin monarch crystal. The middle rank heavenly beast corresponded to the monarch emperor level expert of a human. This kind of powerful expert already possessed the strength to fly into the sky and escape into the earth. When he attacked, the winds and clouds would surge, and it would be extremely fierce. After recollecting his thoughts, Xiaoyan played with the red baby fruit for a while before putting it back into his sodium ring. He got up and said, "It has been more than 2 months since I was teleported to Forest Domain, although I have already advanced to the 6-star Do Emperor realm. But I still have a long way to go from the Star Moon Spirit Domain." As he spoke, he raised his head and looked at the sky through the lush branches and leaves. He muttered to himself, "Xuan Kai Lin. Are you guys alright? In Star Moon Spirit Domain, Yunluo Academy. Wow, Sister Kai Lin, you have already broken through to the 4-star Do Di realm. So fast." 2 beautiful girls were standing by the window in a beautiful building. A woman with black hair looked at the cold and elegant woman in front of her and laughed. That's enough, Xuan. Don't hit me. Aren't you also a 4-star Dodi? Furthermore, I just advanced yesterday. You have already advanced for about 10 days. The cold-looking woman said helplessly. Hee, it is still alright. But, I wonder how dear Xiao Yan is now and how strong he has reached. Xuan frowned slightly and said. When she heard Xiao Yan's name, Kai Lin's eyes also flashed a trace of worry. Then she said, Xuan, don't worry. Xiao Yan is very lucky, so naturally he will be fine. Oh right, where are Uncle Gu and Uncle Zhu? Oh, Father and Uncle Zhu both broke through to the 5-star fighting Monarch 2 days ago. Today, they went to the Monarch skill pavilion to search for the Monarch skill. Kai Lin smiled when she heard that. Uncle Gu and Uncle Zhu stayed at the 9-star Do Sheng class for thousands of years when they were in the fighting Qi continent. Now that they have accumulated so much, it is normal. Xuan smiled and said, the day before yesterday, Father and the others said that if it was not for the treatment given by the academy because of dear Xiao Yan, they would definitely not be able to reach the 5-star fighting Monarch now. Kai Lin also smiled slightly, Xiao Yan. As she said, she looked up at the mysterious sky and mumbled, you must come back safely. Chapter end.